In a universe already fractured by multiversal chaos, a new shadow rises, one that does not conquer with armies or destruction, but with perfect calculation. Time itself begins to twist, memories shift, and entire cities repeat the same moment as if trapped inside an unseen loop. The Avengers, scattered and unprepared, soon discover the terrifying truth behind the anomaly. Kang the Conqueror has returned, not as a broken variant or a desperate warlord, but as the fully realized Prime Kang, the architect of timelines, the master of causality, and the one enemy who knows every possible future. As reality itself starts to collapse around them, Earth faces a threat unlike any in its history. A war fought not in space or on land, but in the flow of time itself. This is the story of what happens when the Kang Dynasty finally arrives. Time fractures begin silently across the world, first small glitches like clocks pausing, birds flying backward for a moment, and people reliving the same sentence twice. But within days, reality spirals into chaos. Entire cities rewind minutes, skyscrapers appear older or newer depending on the moment, and alternate versions of civilians flicker in and out. Doctor Strange immediately senses a familiar presence within the distortions. After months of hiding beyond the collapse of the sacred timeline, Kang Prime emerges colder, smarter, and far more dangerous than any previous variant. He has studied the failures of the past and learned exactly how to dismantle Earth's defenses without even starting a war. As chaos spreads, Sam Wilson's Captain America recalls every major hero, forming a new Avengers coalition, not realizing they are already fighting on Kang's battlefield. The team spreads across the globe analyzing anomalies. In Wakanda, a timequake freezes the entire kingdom mid-motion. In New York, a portal opens, briefly revealing a future Earth under Kang's rule, with giant chrono ships patrolling the skies. Shuri discovers fragments of a chrono forge with a chilling message written in glowing quantum symbols. Your choices are illusions. Spider-Man encounters an alternate Peter Parker for a few seconds before the timeline snaps back. The Avengers realize Kang isn't invading. He is editing reality piece by piece, turning the present into a version he can control. Every second Earth exists is merely because Kang is still calculating the mathematically perfect future. Doctor Strange reveals the true threat. Kang is preparing the Final Convergence, an event where all branches of time collapse into one loop controlled entirely by him. This would erase free will, rewrite every past victory, and turn Earth 616 into a predetermined machine. Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi investigate cosmic anomalies, encountering multiple star systems trapped in repeating cycles of destruction and rebirth. These worlds were former battlegrounds in Kang's multiversal conquest. Their fates confirm one truth: Kang never loses the second time he arrives. Kang finally reveals himself through a towering holographic disruption covering the sky. His voice, calm and absolute, announces the start of the Age of Correction. He presents humanity with a simple ultimatum: surrender their timeline or be erased from it. When no government accepts, Kang deploys his first wave elite Temporal Legionnaires, soldiers pulled from alternate futures where Kang achieved victory. They are brutally efficient, adapting instantly to any fighting technique, pushing heroes like Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Kate Bishop to their limits. For the first time since Thanos, the Avengers are overwhelmed. Retreating to Kamar-Daj, the Avengers debate their next move. Strange explains that they cannot defeat a being who can see every possible outcome. The only option is to fight in a dimension where Kang cannot predict their actions, the Temporal Void, a space outside the multiverse. But entering it risks erasing their identities or trapping them between timelines. Sam insists they go, arguing that Earth has survived impossible odds before and must do so again. With little choice, the team steps into the void and instantly feels the crushing weight of broken time pressing against their minds. Inside the Temporal Void, the Avengers encounter alternate versions of themselves, each representing futures Kang has conquered or worlds where the Avengers failed. Banner sees a world where the Hulk destroyed the planet. Strange confronts a corrupted version of himself who surrendered to the Darkhold. Spider-Man sees a future where Kang forced him to betray his friends. These visions warn them that Kang has already won across countless timelines and that this universe is simply his next project. But the Avengers also gain insight. Kang's power has limitations, and his reliance on prediction may be his greatest weakness. Meanwhile, Kang prepares Earth for final rewriting. His colossal temporal engine activates above the planet, bending the sky into fractured layers. Cities repeat the same moment every hour. Seasons shift in minutes. Kang watches calmly from Chronopolis, adjusting calculations like a mathematician sculpting a masterpiece. To him, the Avengers' resistance is already accounted for. He believes all paths lead to his victory because he built the equations himself. The world slowly approaches collapse as the engine begins synchronizing Earth's timeline with Kang's perfect loop. The Avengers escape the void with a desperate plan, assault the temporal engine across multiple synchronized moments. Ant-Man, Wasp, and Ms. Marvel shrink into the engine's micro-timelines. Captain Marvel and Thor launch an energy offensive from orbit. Spider-Man hacks chronal nodes using Stark tech, creating openings for Strange. Shang-Chi and Captain America lead ground defenses against Kang's seemingly endless legionnaires. For the first time, the team gains ground, breaking Kang's prediction cycle by acting with pure unpredictability instinct over strategy. Doctor Strange reaches Chronopolis and faces Kang in a battle unlike any ever seen. Kang manipulates time in bursts, aging Strange, rewinding attacks, splitting himself into echoes while merging future and past versions simultaneously. Strange counters with forbidden spells, fracturing time around them both. Kang reveals he foresaw this confrontation and already calculated the exact moment Strange loses. But Strange makes the one move that Kang could never predict: self-sacrifice without logic or pattern. He binds his life force to the temporal engine and shatters it from the inside, creating a timeline implosion. Chronopolis collapses, and Kang Prime is torn across infinite timelines, temporarily neutralized but not destroyed. Earth stabilizes, but the temporal damage remains. Strange's fate is unknown, lost somewhere outside time. The Avengers stand in a fractured world, knowing that the threat is far from over, because Kang wasn't just one man, he was a dynasty. And across the multiverse, countless Kangs felt the shockwave of his defeat. The Avengers have won a battle, but the Kang War is just beginning.